breaking this hour, exclusive to I-24 News, sources connected to the Saudi royal family tell us that the Saudi kingdom is closely following the Israeli election set to take place here on March 23rd in the hope that the current Israeli administration will not be changed. That source emphasized that they know and appreciate Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his policies regarding ties with Gulf states and regarding Iran. Take a look at what the sources told us about the Saudi family. They say, quote, they not only like Netanyahu, but love him. He's terrific. He has the necessary charisma, and he knows what he's doing. We're really worried the leader of the opposition, that's Yair Lapid, the head of the Yesh Atid party, will replace him. Another source, also close to the royal family, told us they see Netanyahu as, quote, the spearhead in the fight against Iran. However, they stressed that no Saudi official in Saudi Arabia could say this openly. The Saudi sources telling I-24 News the fear of a change in government in Israel and a change in policy comes against the backdrop of the policies adopted by the Biden administration in Washington. I-24 News has reached out for comment to both Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has not sent in a comment yet, and leader of the Yesh Atid party, Yair Lapid, who has responded with no comment. Let's bring in our senior international affairs correspondent, Owen Alterman. He joins me now. Owen, on the one hand, Netanyahu's fan club is growing around the world, and specifically in Gulf states, as we've seen happening over recent months. And it does seem, Owen, like this story would be important in the context of what we've been reporting in recent months, clandestine ties between Israel and other Gulf states, specifically Saudi Arabia, a tie Israel has been seeking for quite some time.
Absolutely, Ayman. On the one hand, not surprising if we look at what's been happening in the past few weeks, the past few months, or even in some sense the past few years. But if you take a step back and look at the past few decades, let's say, it's absolutely stunning to hear sources from close to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia inside the royal family who are telling us that they want the Likud party's candidate. They want the right-wing candidate. They want Netanyahu to stay prime minister of Israel. Again, across the grand sweep of history, it's really stunning. And again, another milestone showing the changes in the Middle East. And what's also interesting, of course, Ayman, is these sources say that they can't come out and openly say this. They say that they're not here to interfere in another country's elections, but they've leaked exactly this. They certainly want to have an impact. They certainly want to make a statement, certainly against the backdrop of the noises from Washington, not so subtle at all, from the Biden administration about how they see Saudi Arabia, how they see the future of the U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia. I think the Saudis want to come out and say, we have cards to play too. We have friends too. And we are intent on building bridges with the Israeli government. We would much rather do it with Benjamin Netanyahu, but we want to reach out. We want to make our voices heard in our own way. And I mean, it raises, I think, the most important question, which is the Saudis, of course, are in some sense a third party to the Israeli elections. They don't vote. They don't have the right to vote the way we do, but they certainly can have an impact. And certainly a statement like this, even if it's by an unnamed source, has a kind of an impact and begs the question about whether the Saudis would be interested in doing more in the less than 3 weeks we have until these Israeli elections, because they, of course, have important cards to play to potentially help Netanyahu if that's what they want to do.
Oh, and on the other side of the spectrum, Iran, today Iranian officials commenting on another exclusive report here on I-24 News last week that Israel was possibly looking to set a defense alliance with 3 other Gulf states. What are we hearing?
Well, the Iranians have come back and said that Israel is unstable, that it has 4 elections in 2 years, and so on and so forth. We should also say, in an article that was published by the Russian-based Sputnik news agency, which often tries to help achieve Russian interests and Russian goals in the countries in which it operates. So certainly this is part of the Russian and Iranian line to try to get influence within the Arab world, to try to show that they have a hard line in Israel for the parts of Arab public opinion that still feel that way. And of course, those are significant parts of Arab public opinion.
And we're staying on that story throughout the day-to-day with more updates. Thank you, Owen Alterman, for joining us this